It's a big milestone year for the Lloydminster 186 Air Cadet Squadron as they mark 75 years in the border city. Gina Martin met up with the squadron to talk history and preparation ahead of the big celebration in June.
For 75 years, cadets have been marching on these gym floors, founded by E.S. Laird, the first CO of Lloydminster Squadron and the man who opened this school.
It makes me feel pretty happy because this has been a program since World War II and since 1941. Cadets have been coming to E.S. Laird to do parades.
And all this practice will pay off come June 3rd when the squadron honors this significant achievement.
We're going to have a big celebration at the Stockade Centre on the 3rd of June. And it's going to be open to the community, dignitaries. We're going to have a lot of important people there, and we're going to have a lot of to showcase from the cadets.
It's also a time to give thanks to a community who has shown support for the squadron for decades, like the Royal Canadian Legion, who provided a check to the cadets last week.
It was great knowing that our Legion can support us like that, and all that will go to our 75th to help us go that much further with our annual.
The event is not only big for those currently in cadets, but for those who have moved on and made a career with the skills they honed in Lloydminster.
It makes me feel pretty good how there's been 75 generations of air cadets, and how many people have gone through cadets and have achieved great things.
The most rewarding part about all of it is seeing their faces when they go up in their first familiarization flight, when they go up in the airplane, and getting a phone call from the ones who've gone on to the Canadian Forces as their profession, saying that they appreciated the mentorship.
Gina Martin, Newcap News.
20 students, 10 days, 3 countries, and 2 chaperones. That's the breakdown of the adventure Holy Rosary's Travel Club is planning. In this week's Beyond the Classroom, we see how the club is gearing up for their Euro trip with a special stop to commemorate a historic milestone for Canada.
T-shirts, tank top. Yeah, I got all of that.
It's luggage check time for Anna Chapelski as she gets ready for her first trek to Europe.
Perfect. And then my bathing suit.
I'm so excited. It's been a long time coming.
It's also her first trip with the school's travel club, and she's making sure she has all the necessities ahead of departure.
Make sure I have all my clothes, most importantly, and then making sure I'm ready, have jacket, shoes, proper shoes to wear, and I'm just well prepared and I have all my money and everything.
The crew will venture to Austria, Italy, and France, making a special stop in the latter.
We're going to go to Vimy Ridge this year and just pay our respects to the men who laid down their lives at Vimy for us.
We're also taking a couple of wreaths with us. So as we're representing Lloydminster, we're representing Canada, and we're going to lay some wreaths together. We have some matching shirts, and it's going to be really fun, I think.
For Chapelski, that experience, she says, will be eye-opening.
I don't even know how to explain it. It's just joy, really, knowing that it was Canada's first battle and they united as one. It's amazing.
The travel club has been around for about 20 years, visiting mostly Asian and European countries, but the goal is always the same: give students the best bang for their buck.
But also gets them the biggest experience possible. So if we're looking at something like Europe, can we get a soccer game? Can we get the kids on a river cruise somewhere? Can we get them to climb the Eiffel Tower, the Arc de Triomphe?
As for the rest of the trip, you could say there's excitement over one destination in particular.
I'm pretty pumped to see the Eiffel Tower.
Definitely the Eiffel Tower in Paris. It's my dream trip. So excited.
Beyond the Classroom is brought to you by Lakeland College. Turn your grade 11 marks of 85% or higher into grade savings. Visit the college's website for details.
Well, egg decorating is synonymous with Easter activity, so this weekend the Lloydminster Cultural and Science Centre is hosting an event for families to explore their creative side while still learning about the popular tradition. Eggs, glitter, stickers, and dyes will be available for kids under 10 to color hard-boiled eggs and put a modern twist on their designs. There's also the option for families to experience a Ukrainian decoration technique.
For 11 and up, however, they get to experiment with Pasenka.
So that's using a raw egg and experimenting with traditional techniques, and they can sort of explore their own creativity with the beeswax resist.
There will also be Easter-themed games and scavenger hunts, but Clydesdale says people of all cultures will learn the purpose of pisanka and egg decorating in Ukrainian history, which is meant as a gift for best wishes.
So depending on what you are hoping to wish on your family members or a friend, it depends on what you put on the eggs. So those are sort of the designs that we're going to be encouraging people to use.
The events will run from 10 to 3 on Friday and Saturday with regular admission. Keeping pesticide waste out of the environment is another good way for producers to demonstrate their commitment to protecting the land that brings us the food we eat. Gerard Lampow learns about a technique that's supporting the environmental stewardship effort.
The producer washes down the sprayer and distributes it doesn't distribute it, but concentrates it in one area.
Larry Brawl is a water quality engineer with Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada. He's attached to the Science and Technology branch in Regina. He says about 80% of pesticides that end up in the environment has to do with how they are being handled, especially as producers wash the sprayer when moving between crops.
But we have technology where if they can collect it and trickle it on this biobed, the microorganisms in the biobed will actually degrade the pesticides.
The original technology came from Europe and is being adapted to the Canadian climate in Lethbridge, Vegaville and Grand Prairie, Alberta, as well as Outlook and Simpson, Saskatchewan.
Environmental aspect of farming is always a challenge to justify, but if the producer does not use good environmental stewardship, that can eventually affect their product.
Brawl says they're finding that producers will wash their sprayers about 10 to 15 times as they switch between crops. So 2 biobeds of about 8 by 8 feet or 2.5 meters square and a half meter deep will keep about 98% of the pesticides out of the environment.
A lot of people are demanding products that are produced in an environmentally sustainable manner. And that's a long-term thing. And so producers need to be sensitive to how they produce their goods.
Gerard Lampow, Newcap News.
This is Newcap Sports.
For even the strongest of athletes, running a marathon is a frightening scenario. A grueling 42.2 kilometers in the elements, whether it be torrential rain, beating sun, or even snow. It's not for the faint of heart. Now a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity awaits a Marwayne woman Monday. Not only a chance to run in the most recognized 26-mile event, but to do it next to a woman she'd drawn incredible inspiration from. Lance Phillips with the story.
Every runner kind of wants to run the Boston Marathon. That's kind of the big run that everyone wants to do.
But not everyone gets to run the Boston Marathon. In fact, when the event first took place in 1897, men were the race's only competitors. This carried on for 70 years until an ambitious 20-year-old woman named Catherine Switzer became the first woman to cross the finish line.
Catherine Switzer is a huge reason for women being allowed to run in things like the marathon. And when I heard that she was running the Boston Marathon at age 70, 50 years later, and that we had an opportunity to run with her, that was a huge deal for me.
On Monday, Panku will have the opportunity to stand beside her inspiration and begin a race with thousands of other women motivated by what Switzer did on that April 19th day. But there's much more to it than just the race. It's 50 years since Jock Semple tried to tear Switzer's bib number 261 off, a number that has significant meaning to women all over the world.
261 clubs have been popping up, and there are women's running groups, so it's motivating women to become fearless in the face of adversity. I'm a 261 Fearless Ambassador for the last year and a half, I think now, and with that, I've had the opportunity to meet and talk with Catherine Switzer and get involved with her mission.
A mission that has prompted Panku to start her own 261 Fearless group, making her a trailblazer north of the border.
Mine will actually be the first one in Canada, so I'm kind of setting the groundwork for any 261 fearless groups in Canada. So it's quite a it's a scary thing, but I'm very excited because it's really important.
And just like Switzer did for thousands of women, Pankyu's experience will have an effect on other women, one of which is especially close to her.
My family's been really good as far as been behind me, letting me do my running passion, and I've been lucky that way.
I really admire her endurance and her ability to keep going through something like this. I mean, I hope she gains more experience to be able to go forward and continue to do marathons here in Canada and continue to inspire multiple people from all over the place to do what she does.
I'm very proud. I can't believe somebody from a little old town in Marwayne, Alberta, is able to, will be able to hopefully make an impact in Alberta and in Canada for women, and I think it's really important, and I'm really proud to be a part of this whole organization. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to anybody who's involved with it. And when I talk with other women and other people around, they're excited for me now too. So I can't wait to get it started. So.
Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Marwayne.